Welcome. Hey, guess what? Welcome to
guess what? Hey.
This is Stay F Homekins. We're back.
We took a little hiatus.
A little brickety break.
By 1 week.
That's right.
And we're here.
We took literally one night off.
One night off. I am Janie Haddad Tompkins.
I am Paul F. Tompkins.
He is a comedian.
She is an actress.
Together. Oh, Alexa made a noise.
Hey, Alexa, leave us alone.
Together, we're the Homekins.
No, Alexa, no. I'm showing off for the podcast because usually I'm very deferential to AIs because of when they take over. Yes, Alexa, I'd love to hear whatever you want to tell me about.
This is our little pod. It's our after dinner conversation. You just tune in.
We literally just had dinner.
Pour
now
your
we're having
weekend
a little
water.
drink.
Got my weekend water. Got my cowboy. What is this called? A reverse cowgirl.
That's right.
It's a drink I made up. And let's see. This is episode 27.
That's right.
The year of Saturn returns.
What?
Yeah, that's like why rock stars die at 27.
Because Saturn returns and kills the rock stars?
Yeah. Like, I guess the theory is, like, if you're into this stuff, is like, basically, when you turn 27, like, something bad happens to you. And guess what? When I turned 27, something bad did happen to me. However, I think it's just like when you're 27, things bad happen to you.
I think when I was 27, I continued being the bad thing that happened to other people.
Couldn't that be the bad thing that happened to you, though?
Yes.
That was like...
But that had been that way for a while.
Why do you say that? Because you feel like you were not like a fully formed... I mean, no one...
When I was 27, I moved here in 94. 27, it would have been 1996 for me.
Mm-hmm.
And that is when I got fired for stealing a Tower video.
Guys, you can hear that in his comedy special.
But then Laboring Under Delusions
about jobs he's had.
But then I also did get my first big showbiz job later that year.
Well, shoot. That sounds like a good thing.
Yeah. I mean, those rock stars did get to be rock stars.
Maybe it's only like the one bad thing, and then you get to move on to good things. Like once the bad thing happens.
Yeah. I mean, if the bad thing is death, you don't get to move on. That's pretty much it.
That's a good point.
You go in the ground, and that's it.
Oh, my God.
Hey, we went to West Virginia last weekend.
Wild, wonderful.
That's right.
West by God, Virginia.
We saw Bigfoot, of course.
Roads.
Take me home.
We saw the Mothman.
We saw the Mothman. They were hanging out with Jessica the Dancing Outlaw.
We saw
the three of them together.
Come on. We did the whole thing. We did it all.
We saw Chuck Yeager. The ghost of Chuck Yeager.
We saw
flying a ghost plane.
Don Knotts, that's right. We saw Pearl Buck.
Pearl who?
Pearl Buck.
Pearl Buck.
Mm-hmm.
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 We had a very nice time with Janie's family.
We did. We unfortunately were there for a sad event. My cousin passed away this year, and this was a memorial for him. And his teenage son came in, and his ex-wife came in, and that was real sad. And I wanted to be there for my cousins who are his siblings and stuff, because this was a hard year anyway. We were all supposed to get together in 2020, like in May. And as we all know, that did not come to fruition because travel in May of 2020 was kind of like not happening, really.
It was because of the novel coronavirus, COVID-19.
Yes. It was this like worldwide pandemic that's like still happening or whatever. And then
Cut to.
This is crazy, but like we were on Delta. I was going to fly. I think I was flying by myself last year when I was supposed to go for the cousin reunion because
that's
it wasn't a memorial yet. It was cousin reunion. And so I had this Delta ticket, and so when all that went down last year, I called Delta and I was like, well, I can't really fly. I just thought like they'd give me my money back, but I didn't book the ticket during the, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they were like, okay, you can have Delta dollars. And I was like, oh, cool. And then they were like,
and you can buy anything from the top shelf.
And they were like, oh, and they expire.
Unlike your dollars, which just go away.
And I was like, oh, okay. And so I was like, okay, well, we can go to the cousin memorial and / reunion family get together. But I'll just use the Delta dollars. So that was a whole situation because you can't just like, and then you had like an e-voucher from a previous, like the year before.
Yeah.
Because I was doing a play and I was going to go see my mom.
That's right.
And then I cashed in those tickets because I stayed in LA to do this play. That's a whole other story. And so they were like separate. Like one was like an e-voucher, one was like Delta. They were like different coupon codes. Mm-hmm. And I punch them in on the website and they aren't like taking like, you know?
Right.
And I'm like, so I have to call human and there's like a 9-hour wait for Delta.
It's absurd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was the whole thing. And then, by the way, our dollars.
It's like they say, why don't you leave us your number and we'll call you back? And then you might get a call at 2:30 in the morning. And what?
Right. Yes. And then
this Delta, were you asleep?
Yes, dumbass. I was asleep, Delta. I was fucking asleep. And then it didn't even cover the tickets because it was like a holiday weekend, and we had to go on specific times. Like we couldn't be flexible with our dates.
Yeah.
And so then we still had to pay Delta more money for those.
Yeah. Somehow the airlines won again.
Somehow the airlines, they got bailed out and they are still struggling. Yeah. And they're always full of people.
Yeah.
So what is going on there?
I think the claim is the jet fuel is so expensive.
Whatever.
And it's like, make some of that shit with corn oil or whatever.
Also, plug it in.
Figure it out, guys.
Do something. Because it's not good.
No, it's ridiculous. I mean, anyway, so
we go.
We go. And this is our first time traveling.
Since the pandemic.
And the airline is crazy. It's a holiday weekend.
Oh, and it's LAX too.
And it's LAX.
And
they had apparently spent $300 million to redo this terminal, and they essentially painted it.
It looked like the same terminal with like nice, brightly lit colors and everything. Yeah. And I was like, wait, there's no more space?
No.
They didn't add like...
It was exactly the same.
It was like the same setup.
Yeah.
It was like so crazy. And then
still a weird giant staircase right in the middle of everything.
Oh, my escalator was broken, by the way. Oh, so wait. So we're at TSA pre-check and my ticket didn't grab my pre-check. So I had to go through the regular security line and I was like, this is not cool. So I got that sorted after the fact. But so we had to split up to go through security, and my side of security, the escalator is broken.
That's
and so
horrible.
I look to my right and left, and they're like elderly people, like struggling, like carrying these heavy baggages up the stairs, and like moms like lugging strollers and babies.
And a couple hours before that, someone had left a package behind.
Suspicious package.
At LAX. And so they were afraid that there was a bomb.
They shut the package. They shut the whole terminal down.
Including the package.
And they came with like canine units.
We saw some of the dogs.
They were saving lives.
It's funny that I think that we used to always think it was just German shepherds, but it's like all kinds of dogs.
Well, now they're training dogs like to smell COVID and stuff.
Yes.
I'm ready for that.
I'm ready for a dog to smell me.
How
am I doing?
I want a dog to like do I want it to do like my skin check, my moles.
Dog smelled my moles.
I want the dog, because like they can
smelled my mole and he started barking.
Dogs can smell cancer too.
Yes.
And they're training them like to smell COVID too.
What about those cats that they have in nursing homes that always know when somebody's going to die?
Oh.
And they go sleep with that person. They go in their bed.
Oh.
I think that gets a murderer.
That's not good. That's not good. All right, so continue our Delta adventure.
So, of course, there's a connecting flight that we have to make.
Yeah, because we're going to West by God, Virginia.
Now, here's the thing. What's funny to me is I have this TripIt app. So I put all my itineraries in there and it gives me updates and stuff like that, in addition to the ones the airline gives me.
Yeah, I don't do TripIt.
Sometimes TripIt will give me an update before the airline will give me the update. That's why I really like it. But TripIt was telling me for a good couple weeks, whenever we booked that flight, that our connection was at risk.
Things were
and it's
changing.
like, how it has it. This is weeks from now.
Things changed frequently with our flight leading up to leaving. Like, to the point of, like, I guess we'll just go there and see what happens.
But, like, what is going on? Like, this flight hasn't happened yet. How can it be changing so much?
Because they kept changing the depart time.
I know, but why is what I'm saying.
I have no idea.
It's like, did somebody want to sleep in or something? So, of course, we land and we take off late, and then we land, and we have 15 minutes to get
15 minutes.
What, like T to D or something like that?
Yes, we land, no, D to B. T to B. I don't know. We landed
something like that.
We landed in one concourse in the Atlanta airport, and we had to go to another concourse in the Atlanta airport, and we had a 15-minute window to make it.
Yes, and they said on the boarding, I think on the boarding pass it said that the door closes 15 minutes after boarding or something. So it's like, basically what we were being told was the plane is gone, but we hustled, like, we ran. Power walked, ran. We got on the train. We got to the thing. Blah, blah, blah. We're carrying our suitcases up an escalator
and running past people up an escalator. And I'm like sucking in mask the whole way, by the way.
Yes. And we're keeping the family in West Virginia abreast of our travails and everything.
Yeah. Cause it was like, oh, if we miss this flight, we're definitely spending the night in Atlanta. And I was like, I bought Wi-Fi on the plane because I was like, maybe we can get to Charlotte, or maybe like tonight, or maybe we can, or maybe we can, there's a flight in the morning. The flight in the next morning was sold out. Like, I was like, I don't know what we're going to do. Like, in my mind, I'm like, maybe we should just go to Miami for the 4th of July. I don't know. Yeah. Like, I didn't know.
So we finally land, and of course, everyone else is in the same situation we're in with various connecting flights, and everybody wants to get out. But they don't make, like, sometimes they'll make an announcement that says, hey, can you please stay in your seat if this is your final destination, stay here, stay in your seat, and let these people try to fucking haul ass and make their connections.
Yeah.
So all these people are standing up. There's a guy behind me who's like, hey, can I get ahead of you? Because my connection's at 9:30. And Janie and I both said, ours is 9:15. And he's like, oh.
He was like such a stoner, seeming.
He was a little stony, yeah.
Yeah, he was like stoned. And then
what was he asking you?
Because then we were like, sorry, ours is in 15 minutes or whatever. And then he was like, do you like know this airport? Like how to get around in this airport? And I'm like, I don't know.
I'm pretty sure there's signs everywhere. That's all I can tell you.
Use the signage. I mean, I didn't know what to say, and like everyone's like sweaty and stressed, and like just waiting to deplane and run.
Yeah. So we deplane and we run, and we get on the little train. We get to the right concourse. We're running through the concourse. We finally get to our gate, and the door's closed. There's no one behind the desk. And this seems like a bad sign.
This feels like the beginning of like a sitcom.
So we're like looking at it, and we're all at that point. We're starting to talk like, okay, what should we do now? Because nobody's here. The flight's gone. Another guy pulls up, right behind us, who was on our flight, and he's like, "Yeah, I guess we missed it."
Yeah, he was on. Yeah.
Then, lady in a red vest, airport employee
with a lanyard,
comes walking around the corner. And we
toward
said,
the gate.
Yeah.
Toward the desk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we said, did that plane leave yet? And she goes, let me see. Hits the pad, walks down the hall. We're on the other side of the door. We're just waiting. We have no idea what's going on. finally, after like a minute, we hear her on the other side of the door. She's like pushing the door open and then it's closing again, pushing it open and then closing again. And she's saying, yeah. She's just like talking to somebody.
Yeah.
And then she says, okay, come on in. I have to walk you down. And so we run down the gangplank and then they let us on. We walk onto the plane and we see Janie's father and his wife. They're
on our plane.
They stand up to greet us. We're like, why
are you on our plane?
They're smiling and laughing. And we're like, what's happening?
Yeah. And we're sweating and like, I'm like near tears at this point because I'm like, you know, like again, like I breathed in my mask so bad running through the airport. I was like, I don't want to.
And you always sprinkle a little hot sauce in your mask. And it backfired on you finally.
I shouldn't have done it. Shouldn't have done it. You know, I don't want to be one of these anti-maskers that's like, I can't breathe because I'm not. But if you are running full force with your arms full of luggage and you don't have the right situation going on with your mask,
absolutely,
you do suck in the mask.
Yeah.
Like I was like, I couldn't get oxygenated.
Yeah. And I had a filter in mine. And it was rough. But the people that complain about that are people that are trying to go to a store.
Yeah, they're not.
They're like, I'm going to collapse on the ground.
Yeah, it's like whatever. So I'm like, I don't know why they're on our plane. It was weird.
We sit and we try to figure it out. Like,
because we're like rows
back.
We're like 10 rows behind them.
Yeah.
And we have to buckle in instantly because they're like waiting on us and they're like.
And there's that feeling every once in a while. This has happened to me where I'm the last person on the plane, and you just feel like everyone's mad at you, even though we all know like the plane doesn't wait
anywhere.
for you.
Yeah.
But it's not like the plane is like, we're not taking off until Paul gets here. Like they're fine to take off without you.
Yeah.
So we get to Charleston, West Virginia, and we get off and. Your dad and Betty are waiting for us outside. Yeah. And then what did your dad say?
I said, what's going on? What were you guys doing there? You know, how did you get on our, and he goes, I told you I'd meet you at the airport. I just didn't say which one.
Now, he was thrilled. He was thrilled to deliver this coup de grace.
What?
He had obviously been, because they were coming back from a vacation. So they knew they had to make that same connecting flight.
They were coming back from a vacation that I didn't know they were on. So I thought that, and wait, this is the worst part.
We were seriously thinking like, did they fly here to meet us in Atlanta?
Wait, I didn't.
Why would they do that?
Didn't even know this part is that leading up to this trip, because my dad was like, "I'm going to pick y'all up. I'm going to meet you at the airport."
Yeah,
I'm going to meet you at the airport.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, my dad's like, he just turned like 80. He's turning 81. I don't want him to. We get in at 11 p.m. I don't want him." To drive. I want to take like an Uber or a taxi or something, and then everyone's like, "No, you can't get an Uber or a taxi, and it's West Virginia. Like, no way. Like, no way."
Let me tell you something. As a person not from West Virginia, what I've learned about West Virginians is that they love to tell you that you're in West Virginia now. And so anything you might mention, they'll say, "Oh yeah, not in West Virginia."
Not in West Virginia. And then, so I was like, well, I'm on this huge thread with all my cousins. And I was like, well, maybe I'll see if anyone's, because I had Atlanta cousins coming in. And I'm like, if someone's on that late flight with us, maybe we can ride to the hotel with them or something. You know, so I'm texting, this is unknown to my dad. I'm like texting them and I'm like, is anyone coming in on that Atlanta flight? Because, you know, maybe we could hitch a ride. And they were all like, no, but we'll come get you. And I was like, well, I don't want to just make one of my cousins, now I'm like, this is the same boat as whatever. Mm-hmm. So I was like trying to get my dad off the hook to come get us. But what I didn't know is they were on vacation with my stepmother's kids. Like they all had this vacation planned with the kids and the grandkids.
Yeah.
And they cut it short to come home for the funeral. And so my dad, when he got our flight information, booked the same connecting flight and just like could not wait. He just like kept it secret for weeks because in his mind, he's going to meet us at the gate, not on the plane, because we would have been at the same gate.
Yes. Yeah. It worked out even better for him. This was even more of a surprise.
Yeah. And so he was on that plane. He'd been keeping it secret for weeks. And then I was like, oh my God.
I'm happy for him. He was thrilled. He was so thrilled to say
excited.
it.
I told you I'd meet you at the airport. I just didn't say which one. So then we were like, okay, great. So. And then he presented you with a huge bottle of Jameson's that we couldn't fly home with.
Not a huge bottle. It was like a little, I think he was thinking, well, I can't buy him a regular size bottle because that's too much. So I'll get him just like one of those in between bottles.
I guess he thought you might need it at the hotel.
I don't know.
Or something.
I
don't know.
I don't know that I've ever drunk whiskey in front of him.
I don't know what's going on, but it was like, it was crazy.
So then we stayed at the good old Embassy Suites.
But the exciting part of our journey is if you listen to Stay Homekins, you know that our official podcast merchandise is sold by the wonderful
created and sold
by the wonderful design team and entrepreneurs at Kinship Goods, which is based in Charleston.
Yes. Hillary and Dan.
And we didn't know, how are we going to get to meet Hillary and Dan? Because, it was a tight schedule. I have so much family. It's, a lot.
Yeah, and everything was happening during the day. So it's when could we get over to their
the
store
shop,
to see them or whatever?
And, Hillary was like, oh, I know. I have a big family. I totally get it. And I was like, oh, this is going to work. And then it did work that we were like, hey, we can see you between this time and this time. And, and we went to the actual Kinship Goods.
That's right.
Flagship store in Charleston, West Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
And we met Hillary and Dan, and they were awesome.
Yeah.
And we met their dog, Sissy.
They picked us up at the Embassy Suites on Sunday. They gave us a ride. The store's not open. They opened it up for us to go look around and have a visit and everything. And it was really cool to see the shop and the way the store is set up and everything.
The silk screens and
then we had a lovely visit with them. We heard their story of how they got together and
they met in Louisville.
Yeah.
Dan's from Louisville. Hillary's from West Virginia. Then they moved back. And it was just really awesome.
It was great.
If you're ever in Charleston, West Virginia, you have to go to Kinship Goods.
Got to go to Kinship Goods. And Sissy the dog, who is an elder beagle.
I know.
She's a grand lady.
But also, we just had so much fun. I don't know. It was we met them through the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was all of this podcast. I mean, I had known about Kinship Goods before Stay Homekins because I had purchased stuff from their website before because they have these awesome West Virginia shirts. I got my brother one for Christmas one year. My cousin bought me some West Virginia shirts after he came out here and sent them over. So I was already a fan of their stuff and had followed them online. So just the whole interacting with them through this horrible past year and kind of developing a beginning friendship with these people from afar, it was really weird and a cool thing that came out of Stay Homekins.
When would that have happened otherwise? You know what I mean? It's really wild because I forgot until they told us that the reason we got to know them is because they listened to the podcast first and then contacted us about
doing an ad.
They wanted to do an ad, yeah.
And we were like, what instead of an ad? What if? What if we did this? And then it was the merchandise has been amazing. First of all, I love all my Stay Homekins swag. I think I wear my sweatshirt all the time.
Yeah. You do.
Yeah, I wear it like all the time. Like it's my favorites.
Yeah.
And all my sweatshirts from there are my favorite sweatshirts.
Everyone that we know that's bought stuff from there says how comfortable it is. Hi, Cuckoo.
Cuckoo.
Including Cuckoo. What if we got Cuckoo a little tiny t-shirt?
Oh my God, we need to get Cuckoo a little Kinship Goods t-shirt. Like a teensy little Kinship Goods t-shirt.
Right, Cuckoo? Wouldn't you like that, Cuckoo? Okay, Cuckoo. We'll talk to you later. But yeah, like your cousins were saying, oh yeah, we went and bought stuff. We went and bought stayfhomekins merchandise.
I said my cousins all bought stuff from there, and I was like, "Oh my God, is that how come the line was successful? Because it was all my relatives."
My cousin Joan too in Philly.
Oh, did she get a stay?
Yeah. I asked her because she was telling me that she was listening to the podcast, and then at one point I was like, "Hey, what are your shirt sizes?" And then she sent me a picture, and she was already wearing like one of the shirts.
Are you kidding me?
But I got the jump on her the next time, like the latest thing that we did. I think the squirrel and the rat.
Oh,
t-shirt.
good, yeah. And then we heard from your cousin Steven through our
Our, shout out to cousin Steven.
It's cousin time, y'all.
It's cousin season.
It's cousin season. I don't know about y'all, but like I hadn't seen. And this was the first time I saw my dad in person since before COVID too. But like I hadn't seen my cousins, and I only saw some of them. It wasn't all of them.
No, but let me tell you something. It's a lot of people.
It's a lot of people.
It's a lot of people. There were dinners 2 nights in a row at your Aunt Peggy's house.
Yeah.
And it was, every room was full of people. But it was, what was really nice is that, and we were talking about this, like especially for me. Like, this was the first trip. I've only been there a handful of times. And this was the first trip where I didn't feel like a novelty anymore.
Right.
And I just felt like, oh, yeah, that's Janie's husband, Yeah.
I
felt
you're part of the family
I felt like
now.
Part of the family, yeah.
As opposed to like, you're from Philly. And
La La Land.
You live out in Tinseltown? What's it like out in Tinseltown?
But yeah, everybody was so sweet and so nice. And it was a really, despite the reason for it being so grim, it was a very nice, visit.
And there's like 4 generations now because it's like my cousins and then all my cousins like grown kids and then some of their kids, like little babies.
We saw two
babies.
adorable little babies that were both wearing seersucker when I was wearing seersucker.
They were wearing matching everything all the time.
Yeah. They were adorable.
They were really cute.
Now look,
it was crazy.
We got to take a break.
Oh, we do?
Yeah, but we'll have more
after
when we return.
These
announcements, sponsors, announcements, messages
from our message from
the
us.
People, the money people.
About money, yeah. Do you believe in magic? Spoon. Magic spoon. Cereal. Did you know that growing up, cereal was one of the best parts of being a kid? But I had to give it up because I realized when I was an adult, it was full of sugar and junk that you really shouldn't eat, or you will turn into, like junk yourself.
It is as St. Paul tells us in Scripture.
So in order to cut down on carb, sugar, and unhealthy food, I realized I basically can't eat anything anymore except...
You went on this journey, this emotional journey. You never told me any of this, honey.
I just was like, some of the work I do is internal. I don't have to share it, Yeah. But guess what?
What?
I discovered. Yeah. I discovered that I can eat Magic Spoon. You know why?
No.
You know why?
No.
Because there are 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and only 4 net grams of carbs in each serving. Only 140 calories a serving.
What?
It's keto friendly.
What?
Gluten free. Grain free, soy free, low carb, and get this, GMO free.
No GMOs?
No GMOs. You can build your own box or get a variety pack with available flavors: cocoa, fruity, frosted, peanut butter, blueberry, and cinnamon.
All my nicknames for you.
I mean, who doesn't love cinnamon? I sure do. So, do you want to try it today? I think you should. Go to magicspoon.com/homekins. to grab your delicious cereal and try it. Be sure to use our promo code HOMEKINS to save $5 off your order.
Be sure to use that promo code.
Magic Spoon's so confident It's backed by 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it, they'll refund your money. No questions asked.
That's some swagger.
So go to magicspoon.com/homekins. Use the code homekins to get $5 off. Thank you, Magic Spoon.
Thank you, Magic Spoon. It's so easy being Green
Chef.
That's right. Green Chef. They're once again sponsoring us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Green Chef.
What
Do you
is
know
it?
what Green Chef is?
No, what is it?
Well, you don't know what it is?
I'm pretending for the podcast.
Okay.
What's Green Chef?
Well, I'll tell you, dum-dum. Green Chef is a delicious meal kit. They let you choose from a wide array of easy-to-follow recipes perfect for keto, paleo, and plant-powered diets. Oh, to be powered by plants. Or even if you just want to eat in a more balanced way. Green Chef's expert chefs, and they're not all green. Some of them are veterans. They design flavorful recipes that go way beyond ordinary for a diverse array of meal plans and plenty of options to choose from each week. Diversity. Representation is important. We have had Green Chef in this house.
I love Green Chef. Green Chef takes the meal planning, emotional labor out of the equation.
Yes.
So you have more energy and more time to play basketball or read a book or,
Read a book about basketball.
Yeah.
Or play like you're in a book.
Exactly.
About basketball. Now, we have enjoyed all the Green Chef meals that we've gotten, every single one. It's kind of fun. It's like, what are we going to get?
Spoiler alert, we do the balanced ones. We don't do the diet.
I don't think that's a spoiler. I think people assume that about us.
Those are the really yummy ones in my opinion because they have all kinds of ingredients.
So listen, I need to call these people to action.
Okay.
This ragtag group that's listening to this podcast. Go to greenchef.com/homekins100. That is HOMEKINS and the number 100. And use code homekins100 to get $100 off, including free shipping.
Dang, that's a Benjamin.
That's right. greenchef.com/homekins100. Use code homekins100 to get $100 off, including free shipping.
Y'all get your Green Chef. It's not easy.
That's right. Green Chef, the number one meal kit for eating well.
Thanks, sponsors.
So here was a highlight with the family.
Oh, you're getting into the family.
This was okay. So the first dinner was all like, it was barbecue, buffet style. You go get yourself your
Always
food, whatever.
buffet style with this group.
Oh, it's too many people.
There's like 100. I mean, what are you going to do?
There's not even enough chairs.
No.
Second night, first night was when we met the babies. We met that dog named Ricky Bobby.
Oh, yeah, my cousin's dog, Ricky Bobby.
He's a great dog. He was looking for food all over the place. He almost ate your dad's pie.
Oh, yeah.
The next night, two of your younger cousins, fourth generation we're talking.
Third?
Yeah,
because they're my cousins.
Okay, the fourth generation would be the babies.
Yes.
Okay, so this is third gen.
Some of the boys.
Some of the boys. Hey, the boys!
It was the boys.
They had taken up cooking over quarantine.
One in particular, I think,
Yes.
self-taught himself.
Yes, got very into it.
And they wanted to do it. They
wanted to cook. They were
the
gonna
huge
make
family.
This fancy dinner.
Yeah.
And they were
wait, by the way, people kept because I saw other cousins throughout that day, and there's oh, so-and-so's coming. Oh, so-and-so's, more people kept getting added to the...
Yeah.
in the middle of the day.
Yeah. And so we get there, 5:30, 6, something like that?
Yeah.
And these guys are cooking. And
it was like David and John were in there cooking.
Yeah. And they're going on for a while, right? And so we're there for a while.
So we're eating hummus and, baba ganoush and some crackers.
Yes.
We're trying to fill ourselves up.
We're having a conversation. Here's a very interesting thing I learned was your cousin Laura said,
uh-oh,
she's never eaten mac and cheese. And I was like, this is impossiple. You were a child once, right?
Because one of the dishes that the guys were making was a
chorizo mac and cheese.
Like a chorizo spicy mac and cheese.
Yeah, which sounded delicious.
Amazing.
She was saying she's never eaten it because it always looked disgusting to her. And it's like, look.
Also, why? No, that can't be possible. It doesn't look disgusting.
Here's what I can grant. If you see mac and cheese, it looks kind of like a chopped up yellow brain, right? But that doesn't necessarily mean it's unappetizing.
How do you not like smell it cooking like a homemade?
It's macaroni and cheese.
Also, how do you avoid it? Because like
I know.
I can't tell you how many potlucks I've thrown together a mac and cheese casserole and like taken a mac and cheese. Or if I'm like feeding a crowd, I'm like, oh my God, y'all, I'm just going to pick up some fried chicken and do a mac and cheese casserole at home. And
no one ever says, oh, please don't do that. It looks gross to me.
No.
Guess what? All food looks gross. If you really think about it. All food looks gross.
I mean, I forgot that she said that until you're saying that. Because
I could not. It imprinted on my brain.
It was like so weird that anyone.
Yeah.
I mean, she's older. Like she's older than us too.
She's not.
She's like older.
Yeah.
But I'm saying she's gone more years not eating mac and cheese,
which is astonishing. Yes, absolutely. At this point, you're like, I guess you're done. Don't try it.
I was like,
no, I'm sure you've heard this before, but it's good.
And then, and then every now and then there would be some noise in the kitchen, and they would be like dancing in there.
I looked at there one time. They had like a routine going on.
They did. I couldn't see. They were behind me.
It was unbelievable. They
were having so much fun.
They were having a great time, but like the hours are ticking by, and we're like, where is this food?
So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go in there because I wanted to get another Truly. I was drinking the hard seltzer. There was a bunch of Truly.
Those look like a mistake
in the garage. They were not a good idea, but I did it anyway. I was like, I'm gonna have this hot out. I'm gonna have this.
I remember you had one in your hand, and I just thought to myself, well, all right.
They were weird. They were kind of sweet. I don't know. So I like go out through there, and then I come back out, and I sit down next to Paul and my dad, and some of my other cousins are in that room, and I lean over and I whisper to Paul, and I was like, they haven't even cooked the pork chops yet.
Yeah. We saw
like there
4
was like
pork
raw
chops.
meat in there, and I was like, "That we've been here like 90 minutes, maybe."
And there's like 30 people there,
at least.
Yeah. So the hours are going by.
I was like, I don't think this is gonna work out.
And we're getting hungry. We're trying not to just eat.
I'm like whispering to my dad, and my dad's like, "We'll just go to Wendy's."
Yeah.
We'll just leave, and we won't tell anyone we're leaving. And I was like, I don't know. I was like, I've kind of like, I am curious to see how this plays out.
Then at one point, your cousin Daniel.
Yeah, I felt bad like ratting out Dan. Anyway, Daniel was like,
well, yeah. I mean, look, if you know him, this is not a bad story. If you don't, it's still not a bad story.
Daniel,
he's on his phone
next to us, hearing us. I think.
Yeah, and he comes up to us with his phone. And he says, "I'm ordered a bunch of pizzas."
No, he said I already ordered them. He's like,
I just ordered a bunch of pizzas.
I ordered a bunch of pizzas. And I was like, oh, you did? And he was like, yeah. He's like, I don't think it's happening.
Yeah. And we agreed. We're like, oh yeah, there's no way.
And then he did go in the kitchen, and I think he told them. It wasn't like secret.
Oh, really?
Because I was like, do they know pizzas are coming? He's like, yeah, they know. He's like, because he's like, takes the pressure off of them.
Right. Well.
Did you hear that part? When he said,
I did not
take
hear
the
that
pressure off of him. And I was like, okay. That's fair.
5 minutes later, they put the food out.
It might have been like 10.
It really was not that long.
By the way, wait, but you didn't tell the part in the middle between the pizza and them putting the food out. When all that smoke came out, they had to open all the windows.
It was just like, we were in the living room. There was
and
just like
smoke
this fog.
started billowing out of the kitchen. And then my other cousins from the other room came in there and started opening windows, and the shutters fell off. And then someone was like, hey, you're not supposed to touch those shutters. And then we were like, okay. And then someone was like opening the front door, and like, it was like we were fanning this, like trying not to set off the fire alarm. Yeah.
And then 5 minutes after that, the food came out.
But then when they put the food out on the dining table, it was literally like perfect.
Well, first they
put
out.
It was all perfect.
They still weren't in the clear, because the first thing they put out was, hey, we have these jalapeno poppers that we made.
The poppers were pretty good, though.
And they were good, but it's like, okay, what's the schedule of items coming out? And then after that, they put everything out on the dining room, on the dining
table. Like a full meal. Like a full feast.
It was incredible.
And it was also like Instagram. Like, I probably should have taken a picture of it, but we were like hungry and like.
It looked, not only was the food good, the presentation was amazing.
By the way, it was like 9 p.m. when this happened.
We're like,
which like you might be like, what? In New York we eat at 10:30.
well, we're
Or
not
you
in New York.
Yeah, or-
This is West Virginia.
You might be like, in Paris we don't even eat until 10:30. You know, that's when we start having our meals. Well, okay. This is at my Aunt Peggy's house. My Aunt Peggy turned 90 this year, okay?
All right.
So we're not.
Shut the fuck up.
So go
You
ahead.
leave Aunt Peggy out of this.
You go fucking eat your
How
10.
dare you
10:30 p.m. meal.
Bring up Paris when we're talking about Aunt Peggy's
We're
house.
talking about Aunt Peggy. She turned 90 this year. So
You make me sick.
So just like back off.
Shut up.
Back off, haters.
Sit down and shut up.
Shut up. We don't eat then. We went there
Shut up.
at 6. We went there at 6, expecting to eat at 7:30. The food didn't come out until 9. There was a fire in between. And my cousin Daniel ordered pizzas. And then we ate.
So we eat the food. It's delicious.
And then my dad's like, we got to go.
Yeah, because
My dad
your dad is like, I'm 81 years old, and I would have been in bed 2 hours ago. So we walk out, and the pizzas arrive.
Daniel's like, don't leave. You got to take some of these pizzas.
He
And we were like, oh, man, we got to go. And my dad was like, I can't. What am I supposed to do with this pizza? Like, I ate already.
My wife's asleep. It's 10 o'clock at night.
But then we were like, finally the food came. And then he gave my dad like a pizza and a bunch of sandwiches.
He gave him 2 pizzas and a couple sandwiches.
I don't even know what he did, but my dad like unloaded because he was like, I can't. He didn't, because Daniel didn't want to like shame the boys.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
He didn't want to be like, I have all these but in my mind, I'm like, this pizza's going to get eaten because there's like 35 people.
I think Daniel also didn't want to shame himself a little bit.
He was being like, I doubted.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I doubted.
Yeah.
I also
We all doubted.
I was coming up with a plan B while you were on your pizza app.
Yeah. If Christ our Lord came back and said, guys, I'm going to cook tonight. And it took that long, I'd be like, no, he can't do it. He's lost it.
And then
he doesn't have it anymore. It shouldn't take this long.
Then when we got home to LA because we left the next day.
Well, the next day your dad picked us up and said, I had 2 pieces of pizza for breakfast this morning and I've had heartburn ever since.
The pizza's been like, and then every time I text my dad, I'm like, we made it. He's like, we had more pizza or like ate some meat. And I'm like laughing because anyway, the dinner was amazing. And I felt terrible that there was all this like sort of like
I know.
suspense leading up
but
to
they
it.
got their praise. Like everyone told them how great it was.
That's true.
And the chorizo mac and cheese was actually, it was like a rigatoni and
it was like a penne. It was like a penne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was not exactly, it was not what
it
your
didn't look
cousin
like
was picturing.
Well, does that mean that if my cousin ate it, which she probably didn't. I bet she didn't.
But if she
wouldn't even try those, freeze-dried cauliflower because she said it wasn't worth the carbs or whatever.
Oh yeah, she was a real label inspector. Well, she's a jock.
Yeah, she plays. Yeah. She's like a golfer and stuff. Yeah. But I was like, okay. So does that mean if she tried the penne, does that mean that she has now tried mac and cheese?
If you try the penne, what does that mean?
I say technically no.
No, that's not mac and cheese.
No, it's not mac and cheese.
That's like highbrow, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But we all know what mac and cheese is, and that wasn't it.
Mm-mm. You have to have elbow macaroni, I think, for it to be mac and cheese.
It must be elbow macaroni. It must be yellow cheese.
Yellow cheese?
Yeah.
I mean, you're thinking of like
there's
Kraft.
white cheese. There's what? Yeah, I am. But there's a
That's
lot
not
of
how I do my mac.
There's not a lot. There's a lot of non-Kraft macaroni and cheese that is also yellow.
I mean, like when I do mine, I like grate the cheddar. Like I do it, I grate it myself because it melts like a little bit nicer. I'm just saying.
That's your gourmet mac and cheese.
That's just what I'm saying is like how I do it. And then lots of butter and milk or whatever.
Of course.
Okay.
Yes.
But yes. Okay, fine. I don't think she's tried it.
No,
I don't
she
think
hasn't.
it was even there.
She hasn't. No.
Technically, it wasn't even there.
No, there was no mac and cheese there on
Technically,
that
it wasn't
night.
there.
No, you can call it that, but that's not
Technically,
what
no.
it is. Technically, no.
And then they made the pork chops sort of like they sliced them very thin on the diagonal.
They drizzled some sauce on
this
there.
like sauce that was amazing,
Delicious,
and it stretched it out for a crowd.
Yeah,
I was impressed. I have to say,
it was the miracle of the pork chops and the.
It was the loaves and fish.
cheese.
It was the loaves and the fish. Yeah, that was like a real situation.
So then we get back to LA.
Yeah, we're back. It's hot here.
Any events when we got back? Nothing really, right?
Well, I will say before we left, I had a couple auditions. I got a little bent out of shape over one because I was asked. I don't know, actors. You tell me. I was asked to audition for a Netflix feature. I'm not saying I was perfect for it, but I'm not saying I wasn't.
That's right. You could have done that part.
I could have done it.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't have given it to me.
You probably wouldn't have given it to you.
No.
Right.
But I could have done it. Do you know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying.
Anyway, it's this little part, whatever. I tape it. I put it up on the WeTransfer, like, you do. And then I taped this other part for CSI Vegas. By the way, thought I nailed that one. Crickets. That one, they made a mistake.
I wish
now, that one, they made a mistake.
That one, I wish you had gotten that
because it was
part.
like sort of like a more country, like state trooper, kind of quirky.
Like it's sort of like, I don't know where you're from, but we don't do things that way around here.
Yeah, they're like, okay.
Welcome to the middle of nowhere, or whatever it was.
Yeah. It was like, it was good. It was like good. I was like, okay, this one I can do.
Yeah.
And then I send that one in, and then my agent's like, thanks, received. And I saw like on the WeTransfer, it got, like clicked on, like, downloaded.
Somebody opened the email.
Downloaded or whatever. The link had been downloaded.
The link had been downloaded.
So then I send the movie one.
Wait, what does that mean? The link had been downloaded. The link had been sent.
So you send the link on WeTransfer, and then when you go to your WeTransfer page to see if your file has been retrieved, it tells you how many times.
Yes.
Like it's been retrieved 5 times, or
retrieved means somebody has downloaded
the file.
Yes.
But like it only needs to be downloaded once.
Yeah.
Because you're sending it off to the people. And so I send the movie one, and I noticed because you get a notice after like 5 days, like your link is going to expire. This file is going to expire. So I go, no one fucking downloaded it. And they were like, oh, thanks, Janie, received. So you tell me, how would you feel if you were asked to prepare 5 pages of sides?
That makes me wonder if anyone saw that one that I did for the where I had to sing.
Well, your agents definitely saw it because they told you did a good job with it.
No, that was a different one. Remember?
Well, that one also.
That one I got 0 feedback on, and it was the most elaborate thing I've ever done. I did a thing where, because
they made a mistake not casting you in that part. They made a mistake.
Because
I'd like to know who got that
over
part.
quarantine, I got into technical stuff, and I finally got into doing like green screen and things like that. So I went way out for this audition, and now it makes me think
it was a fun audition.
It was a fun audition. It was a fun part.
It was something like totally up your alley.
Absolutely,
too. Like it was in your interest,
and something it was in my interest. Exactly. I would have been thrilled to have done this role, but I wonder. Did I try too hard?
No.
You don't think that turned them off?
No.
If anybody actually saw it?
No.
I wonder sometimes because normally
No.
the thing about auditions is, for people who don't know, is that it's very hard to judge. Like with an in-person audition,
everyone's on the same playing field.
Everyone's on the same playing field, but it's like you get the part, and it's like maybe it's a specific thing, and you say, "Okay, what can I do to suggest this?" So, but without like putting on like a full costume and showing up in the waiting room, you know. Because some people do that.
There's I think what you're trying to say is there's a bit of a balancing act between bringing yourself to the role and also suggesting the world of the story.
Exactly. Yeah.
Versus, I'm trying to fit a square peg into a round hole and I'm going to go overboard on suggesting the world of the story to compensate.
I'm going to look like I'm already in it or whatever.
So that I'm compensating now for the fact that maybe I'm not of this world. I'm not exactly of this world.
Yeah. So like in person in an audition, you might not put on like a fucking top hat or whatever. But when we're all home alone, trapped in our houses,
I think that's
it's different. Like, well, maybe I can do something a little more elaborate with this. But then as soon as I sent it, I was like, I wonder if I made a mistake. And if that was too much. Because I really went all out.
I just feel like, well, because it was like a period thing and it was
I shot it on green screen. I put in backdrops and
I thought it was fun. I mean,
I thought it was fun too.
I think honestly, for that particular one, I think that the timing of that one made me think that they were like hurriedly requesting tapes for that part.
Here's why I don't understand that.
Because I heard like, oh, this thing starts in May.
Yeah.
Like someone dropped out or someone got sick.
And this was in March, right? Or something like that? It was
after that. And I'll tell you how I know.
Please.
Because I had breakfast with Samantha and I didn't start having breakfast with Samantha again until the both of us were fully vaccinated.
Oh, right.
And I was not fully vaccinated until like May 1st.
Right. Okay.
Or May 5th or something.
There was a tight turnaround on it.
So it was in May.
Because it was like, we need the audition. And then because there's a musical element to it, there's going to be like rehearsals for singing and dancing and everything. And what I'm thinking is, it was too big a part to give to me.
I don't know about that. I mean, yes and no. I also like, I agree with you. Like, we're going to see the film and it's going to be like Hugh Jackman or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like,
because it stars two very well-known people, and it's like, these are the type of people that it's going to be like the usual suspects rounding out this
agreed.
cast.
But then like, I also happen to know that sometimes like monetarily, there are parts that go to people that will take less than Hugh Jackman. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because they already had like really big names that they were paying a lot of money to.
Yeah, I know. But if they have the money for two big names, they have money for other names, other recognizable people
also,
that
it's gonna
maybe
be on
don't cost as much money.
It's going to be on Apple. Do you think Apple has money? I don't know. Do they? I'm just kidding. I
wonder if Apple has any money.
Do you think Apple has any money?
How do you think Apple is doing?
Do you think Apple TV is doing okay?
Do you know what? I'm going to go to the Genius Bar and I'm going to ask. I'm going to make an appointment and say, look, give it to me straight. How's Apple TV doing?
Okay. Are you guys doing okay?
Hey, nobody else is listening. It's just you and me. How's Apple TV doing?
Also, by the way, they have us by the short hairs, as they say, because everything that they do, like Apple, like you're like, am I going to be like, it's just, I have to buy Apple Music for the rest of my life now? Like that's what has to happen, right? Like if I want my music to be everything.
Right.
Do I have to buy Apple Music for the rest of my life? I think I do.
Maybe. Or some streaming thing.
And then during the pandemic, they rolled out Apple Fitness and I was like, oh, that's cheap. That's cheaper than a gym. I'll sign up for that. I sign up for Apple Fitness. I use it, like twice a month because I don't move. Like I'm a total like sloth now.
That's
like I have no fitness
right now.
Just like but I don't know. Is it? This might be the new me.
Honey, how long did I go before I got back to the gym? You know what I mean?
I don't know. I'm not going. I mean, I like the Apple Fitness so much, but like, I just am not into fitness anymore. Like, it is such a chore for me to do it. I don't have.
But that's how I felt too. That's how I felt too. And then things turned around.
I know, but you're a different animal than I am.
I'm a different animal.
I mean, you get like, I don't know. I'm like kind of all over the place and you're not. You're either this or that.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? You're either this way or you're that way.
That's true.
Like you're on this mode or that mode. And I'm like, I'm kind of like all over the dial in one day even.
Baby, I can't believe I forgot the lyrics to WKRP because I tried to start in the middle. Baby, if you've ever wondered.
baby.
Wondered whatever
if
became
you've
of
ever
me.
Wondered whatever became of me.
I'm living on the air in Cincinnati, WKRP. Got kind of tired of packing and unpacking, town to town, up and down the dial. Do-do-do-do-do-do, baby. Oh, I can't remember it.
It's to me.
But baby, think of me once in a while. What is that middle line, though?
So they're
Down,
going to
up
tweet us.
and
So
down the
many
dial.
people are going to tweet us.
Baby, you and me were never meant to be. But maybe think of me once in a while. I'm at WKRP in Cincinnati. That was a good show.
But wait, that's not the best radio song.
What's the best radio song?
WOL, 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 D.
This is a Harry Chapin song that I had never heard.
What? It's so good.
Until Janie
How
introduced
can
me
you not
to
have
it.
heard it? It's from Greatest Stories Live. Like that's like
Because I never heard that album, I guess.
That's like the album. Though.
Here's what I knew. I knew the Taxi song by Harry Chapin. I knew. Did he do the Cats in the Cradle? Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that one. What are some of his other hits?
Something about I want to learn a love song. Or, that's not how it goes. Where wait, is that the wait? I want to. The WOLD song is like, it's like how does it go? Now I can't think of it because you were doing KRP.
I'm sorry.
You were doing KRP and I can't remember it.
Well, don't turn this around on me.
WOLD. And
it's about a DJ, right?
I am the morning DJ. Wait, that's all right, this is okay.
Hold
All
it
right,
up to the
I
thing.
just have to like kind of get sort of into it because he does a lot of talking.
Of course, there's a big intro. Hold it like that.
How I got the job as an FM job the day you married me. It was 2 kids and I was into AM rock.
He's into AM rock.
Sure.
He had to run. He ran out. He stepped out on his marriage.
Let me tell you about what's gone down.
Boom, boom, boom.
I am the morning DJ at WOL.
Playing all the hits for you, wherever you may be.
Okay.
That's the best radio song.
Does that even exist anymore? Story songs? Is anybody doing that anymore?
Of course they must be. Do you think? Of course they. It's like a genre.
Yeah, I know.
It's a real genre.
I know, but I'm not.
But there's
really,
like country stuff. Country like.
That's all lists. I like this and that and the other thing, and that's what makes me country sing.
Like the story, like because we had like I don't know, like oh God, Bobby Gentry. And
that's right.
The
song like Fancy. That's a story.
But the one, the Chappahachie Bridge.
Tallahatchie Bridge.
Yeah. Bobby, what's the
Billy
name?
Joe McAllister. Jesus. The Ballad of Billy Joe.
Y'all, the Weekend
Ode to
Water.
Billy Joe.
The Weekend Water has set in my bones.
It really has. Number
it
2.
just got in there.
We
Number
should
2.
seek out that TV movie that they made out of that song. The Robbie Benson was
Do you think
in.
it's on YouTube?
It's gotta be. It's gotta be.
Remember there was a point in the pandemic where I was going to buy the North and South miniseries on YouTube, and I was like, I can't pay for this
Because it looked like shit. Even
no,
the one
if I paid for it, it would have been in.
I bet it would not have looked that.
HD or whatever.
I don't think so.
Well, it wasn't shot in HD.
Yeah,
but I'm like, I gotta get my.
it would have had
old,
like 3 less layers of filth on it.
What I need though, I need all those old TV movies. I need all those. I'm sure they don't age well. I don't care. You know what? I don't care. I need to see those actors. I need to see those costumes. I need to see them shooting period stuff in Burbank.
What was that podcast you did about TV movies?
With Sam Pancake?
Yes.
Me and
What's
Sam
the name of it again?
Oh, another West Virginia.
That's right.
Virginia Boy. Something like the Saturday afternoon matinee.
Proud son of West Virginia.
Yeah, Sam
Pancake.
I love Sam Pancake.
He's great.
Wait, what's the name of his podcast?
Yes, it's TV movies.
It's like something about the Monday afternoon matinee or something like that.
Yeah. And we watched this movie with was it like Olivia de Havilland? Who was in it? It was like some old, like golden age actress was in this fucking TV movie where somebody got buried alive.
It was Olivia de Havilland. It's Sam Pancake presents the Monday afternoon movie. Actor and comedian Sam Pancake sits down with friends. That's me. Famous and funny. Definitely funny, not famous. To discuss the surreal, silly, and nonetheless star-studded made-for-TV movies of the 1970s. It's a loving look at baffling, not quite feature-length flicks that often aren't on DVD and have largely been lost to time. It was like, which was the one I did? It was like something.
Somebody was buried alive. And she was like out for a walk or whatever. And then somebody's like, hey, I'm buried alive under here.
The lady
and then she went.
What was it called? Like the lady screams
or something like that.
Yeah,
it had a weird name like that.
It was funny because I had to watch it for the podcast and I pulled it up on the YouTube and like you ended up watching it with me.
Yes.
It was like deep in it was like at the beginning of the pandemic.
Yes. It was the perfect time to watch this horrible movie.
I was so excited to be asked on Sam Pancake's podcast too.
But listen, this is a good segue. This is a good segue into recommendations. Check out Sam Pancake's podcast.
Definitely.
And I want to recommend a podcast that I just started. Remember, I told you about Jamie Loftus did that. She did that My Year in Mensa podcast, and then she did the one about Lolita. Mm-hmm. And now she's doing one about the Kathy comic strip.
Oh, interesting.
It's called the Ack Cast.
That's funny.
Yeah. Jamie Loftus is her name. And I've just listened to the first episode and it's great. Like Jamie is super smart and funny and gets into these things that you think you know, but you don't know.
That's fine.
And it's a very interesting look at a thing that a lot of people dismiss, probably myself included, I'm sure many times. But it's really worth listening to. It's you should listen to it because it's worth discovering what this comic strip is all about.
Okay.
Yeah, and how people looked at it and everything.
Well, I'm real all up into my recommendation right now. I'm all caught up at this moment. I know I recommended it earlier in the pandemic, To Live and Die in LA, and it was like this mystery. But now there's a season 2, To Live and Die in LA, season 2, and I just got all caught up. And it's like an ongoing investigation into this missing girl. And it's like Neil Strauss. He's like, I think he's like a rock journalist.
Yeah.
Isn't that right?
He did like the pickup artist and
he did,
all that
like
stuff,
mystery or whatever. Anyway, he seems fine. I don't know what his deal is.
I think
he seems a little intense.
I think he's a divisive figure. I think some people really don't like him and some people like him. And, you know,
he kind of sounds like he's always having a lot of trouble in his personal life. Not like drama, Like, it's just like things are always a little like, not, you know, poor guy. I don't know him. In a way, I kind of have come to be like, I think he means well. I think he means well. You know what I'm saying? But sure. I don't know. I don't know this person. I only know him through my parasocial relationship of this podcast,
of course.
To Live and Die in LA.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm listening to that, and it's very addictive in the way that like a mystery that's unfolding is, because actually the investigation is ongoing. Mm-hmm. This podcast is kind of going on in kind of real time.
Right.
Like it's not like it wasn't done like a year ago. Mm-hmm. This is like developments are happening. And I think the podcast is actually being used as a tool to kind of open some leads.
Wow.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see what happens.
Yes.
Speaking of murders or mysteries.
Oh, yeah. Another recommendation. We watched on Netflix.
Sophie, Murder in West Cork. It's only 4 epidodes, right?
I thought it was only 3. Was
it only 3? It's a limited series, but it's
on Netflix.
It's
docu-series.
It's extremely engaging. It's definitely worth watching, especially if
It's
you're
a
a fan.
terrible.
I will just say, if you're a fan of the Staircase docuseries,
And also,
this would be.
and you know they're
interesting.
doing Staircase as a miniseries. They're dramatizing.
I know, and Colin Firth is going to play Peterson, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again. It should have been John C. McGinley.
Yeah.
Look up Michael Peterson and look up John C. McGinley. And if you're familiar with John C. McGinley, he was on Scrubs. If you're familiar with his acting style, he would have been a perfect choice to play this guy.
Maybe he didn't want to play him.
I think they went to Firth.
No, because Colin Firth is like a pretty big
You got to
name.
hear him doing his American accent. And come on.
I will
Are they going to give him the right eyebrows?
You know the eyebrows are everything.
Yeah.
Eyebrows are the way into that character.
Yeah. That's right. It's like some people are like, it's the shoes. With Michael Peterson,
It's going to be the eyebrows. All right, we have something to tell our audience.
We have to break this to you.
And it's been something we've been saving until the end because it's kind of like it might not be received as lovingly as we want it.
It's fine. It's fine. Look, this podcast started during the pandemic and it's going to continue, but we're not going to do it every week anymore.
We have a plan to wean you off of it.
Until you forget all about us.
We're going to titrate you down. It's like you've been put on a medication by your doctor.
That's right.
And your doctor's like, you can't quit that cold turkey.
No.
That's bad news. You're going to have side effects.
Yeah.
So we're just going to titrate you. And that's what we're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
As your physicians, we are going to titrate you down to twice a month.
That's right.
Until, I probably shouldn't tell you this now.
Yeah.
I should have waited.
No, go ahead.
Until October.
And then
You'll
we'll be
get
once a month.
You'll get 2 podcasts a month until October. Then you'll get one in October, one in November, one in December. Our 2022 discussion has not occurred yet.
That's true. But
That
we'll
is
see.
a different thing. And, you know, we don't know what the year is going to bring. We've got lots of creative balls in the air. So, like, there's even a possibility, like, things could morph into something different with us.
Yeah.
Like, where we're putting out a different kind of thing.
Exactly.
I mean, that's what we hope if
But
things
listen,
go well.
Stay subscribed no matter what.
You
If
have to
it doesn't,
hit follow and subscribe to know when we drop.
yes.
And
But
also,
if it doesn't kill you to have a non-weekly update that you see in your podcast app, if you just see the show that doesn't update once a week like everybody else, if that doesn't kill you just on an aesthetic level, stay subscribed.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
I heard that too. The
Is that
philosopher
true?
Kelly Clarkson.
Are we still allowed to say that? What doesn't kill you makes you stronger? Is that still acceptable?
It's an extreme opinion, is what I would say, and you can say it, but it's not necessarily true. There's plenty of things that don't kill you that weaken you.
But it is true in a way because, like, the nature of life, in a way,
Sure.
That's where you are.
I think it's too late to dissect this saying right now.
Anyway, we're titrating, y'all.
Yeah, so once a month, and then
Twice a month and once a month.
We'll do some watch-alongs.
We like to do the watch-alongs.
Like maybe we'll think of another thing that we can do every once in a while. Just plop it in there.
Yeah, we're not going anywhere. It's just that life is changing currently.
Yes. Nature is healing. Blah blah blah. But thank you for
those
listening.
are recommendations.
Those are our recommendations. That's your schedule. Thank you for listening.
Thanks, y'all.
We are stayfhomekins on Twitter and Instagram. We are stayfhomekins@gmail.com if you want to write to us.
We look at everything.
Yes, and we really appreciate you listening. We appreciate all the interactions, and you guys are fantastic. And thank you for sticking with us.
Yes.
And we'll be back in 2 weeks.
So until then,
Stay safe, stay sane, and stay strong.